Hello, this is going to be a reading for water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. We're going to be looking at your past, your present, and your future. Remember that the future is always subject to change through free will. So if you don't like what you hear, then I urge you to take it as a challenge rather than a sentence. Spirit, for the best and highest good of the water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, please give clear and guided messages. The past. The moon. To me, this looks as though perhaps it was a bit of a difficult time for you. Perhaps you felt a bit cold. Perhaps you felt a bit detached from the rest of the world, and maybe were faced with two choices that you felt had maybe some underlying factors that you couldn't really control that well, or you couldn't see that well. It looks like you remained fairly centered in it, though, despite all of the things that were happening and the way that you felt. You remained focused in seeing the positive and the beauty of the situation. Perhaps understood that things would work with time. I also feel like perhaps you took this time to care for yourself, to really grow yourself in particularly body and spirit. The present. The Four of Swords. It's pretty strange to me, this idea or this energy that I'm getting, that perhaps you feel that death is imminent. And when I say death, I'm referring to the tarot interpretation, which has to do with rebirth, has to do with the ceasing of an idea or a belief or a practice, a way of being, and then a radical change in that direction. And perhaps you're feeling that this is the time for that kind of death. So you're laying in your grave, in that sense, accepting it, ready to embrace it, ready to move from this energy of stagnation and detachment into a bigger, broader way of being. I also feel that you're sending this idea out into the world to hopefully share it with others in a balanced way, a very balanced way. I do think that there is still a little bit of darkness, though, that you need to work through. You feel like the moon is your past. You feel like that darkness is your past, but I think that there's still some things that need to be understood within yourself. The future. Judgment in reverse. This to me speaks of balance by means of interpreting hidden meaning. In the past, you have the moon, right, that have what you can see above the water, and then the reflection. And the way I took that is what's underneath the water, the things you can't see. And if you look at the judgment, you can see the exact same idea, the idea that there's still stuff underneath. So how can we look at what is underneath? How can we work through those things? The thing that is in the judgment card that's missing from the moon card is the sun. There is both the moon and the sun in the judgment card. So that to me is a hint that perhaps instead of looking at things from that place of darkness and of detachment, to incorporate warmth into that, incorporate compassion and an understanding of all aspects of the situation. I feel like there's more to this judgment card, so I'm going to ask for a clarifying card to see a little bit more in detail as to what can be interpreted from this. Spirit, for the best and highest good of our water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, what more can be taken from this judgment card? How are we meant to interpret this? It appears there's this broken, damaged figure. If you're not familiar with this term, I would suggest looking it up. But the word Chiron came to my mind, which is the image of a wounded soldier. There's just been so much that has happened. And I think that that has maybe bled into your perspective of things. This character is still holding true to himself. He's got firmly in his hand his wand. I haven't even showed you the card. I'm so sorry. And he is wrapped in white, which to me symbolizes purity. I think he just wants to get over this mountain. he's ready to settle down. Next, I'm going to take a look at some ways that you're able to move forward in strength through the spirit animal, the Wild Unknown spirit animal deck. A beautiful deck. I feel incredibly connected to animals. I think that they are a huge guide for me in staying connected to spirit and to nature. So perhaps this will give us some ways as to how you can move forward with clarity and understanding. Also, before I do this, the overarching energy, the bottom of the deck energy is what it's called, but the overarching energy for the present situation, for your stance, is the Emperor. It looks like you're cloaked in strength. You've really gone through it. It's so very interesting again with the triangles. This, you've mastered what you can see. You've mastered that. So that just solidifies to me that, okay, you know what you see, you are confident in that, but there's more to the story, and that's what's holding you back from this death and rebirth cycle. So in order to move forward, you have to look at the underneath. You have to. And I think that part of that reason that you haven't is because you feel so wounded. You feel like the Chiron, you feel beaten. So that helps me to, I think, ask maybe a more pointed question. Spirit, what advice can you give the water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, to move forward with strength and with the courage they need to look at the underneath, look at the unseen aspects of their situation? Whether that be subconscious, within their own mind, whether that be motivations outside of themselves, the frog in reverse. The frog represents clearing, cleansing, and healing. The frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within this healing element, and then emerges to rest on land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, it needs cleansing and rejuvenation on a regular basis. Frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it is vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us to cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. When the frog is in balance, it has clear energy and enthusiasm for life. When it is out of balance, it's depleted and running on empty. To bring into balance, submerge in a lake, river, ocean, or bath. It's quite interesting to me. If you see this card, when it's in the upright, the water's pouring down on him, and he is not without the rejuvenation that he needs. But when he is out of balance, he almost has to call this energy of the water to him, which takes an immense amount of work to do. So what can you do to release some of the energies that surround you? What can you do to release some of the burdens that you carry? How can you realign yourself into a more peaceful and simplistic space so that you can rejuvenate yourself and hop on your merry way? I also feel that perhaps time in nature, even if it's just around water, being submerged in water is the best way. Taking a long and intentional shower that you can think in, taking a bath, but being around water, going boating, going for a walk around a lake, and just breathing in that air. I think that would be incredibly beneficial. I do want to dive just a little bit deeper into the ways that you can bring yourself into balance. Also, I don't believe I said this before. I used the Mystic Mondays deck. And this card here, the clarifying card, is from the Tattoo Tarot deck. Okay. From the Shamanic Medicine deck, Oracle deck, excuse me, we're going to see what practices or what ideas you can bring into your scope to aid you in the idea of aligning your frog nature. I had this idea that the holidays were going to be incredibly happy for you, that you just were looking forward to this, that this is what you had your sights set on, and it's it's so interesting to me because the card you got is bells, which it appears are attached to an antler of some kind, which screams Christmas to me. And the idea of the bells card is deflection. That perhaps you're using this idea of celebration in the future, this idea of being excited for a certain period, to not deal with the current situation, to escape into the future. But my lovely water signs, the future starts with the present. And I am feeling just such a heavy energy right now from this card and from this situation, because I feel how wounded you are. I feel how much you've had to take on and how much responsibility you've been able to bear without breaking the happiness that you exude so well. Let's read this. Shamanic tribes use the sound of bells to ward off evil spirits, negative entities, and pending danger. While the bells ring loudly and draw attention, the person shaking the bell is silent. This most certainly is not the time to be overly vocal or to bring the focus back to you. Keep your thoughts, intentions, and ideas to yourself to avoid becoming the center of scrutiny. Others may be jealous, critical, or doubtful. Nourish a dream or a plan by protecting it from unwanted influences and outside drama. Gossip and all that goes with it does not serve who you wish to become. Alarm bells have been ringing lately, and what you suspected is confirmed. Something is being covered up, and you have been deliberately diverted from the truth. It takes courage to walk away, but you must deflect any negativity that may be a drain on your time and energy. Be aware of any subconscious thoughts that have connected you with or created unwelcomed energies. Shamans use bells for clearing space in ritual and ceremony. Allow bells to raise your vibrational energy to a higher level. This will help you in your shamanic ability as well as deflecting situations you no longer require in your life. Understand the ripple effect of your words, thoughts, and actions. The bells revealed. The bell branch is used for healing, invoking spirits, and to summon the spirit of sacred sites. Forms of the bell branch, or spirit chaser, use animal bones and sacred trees. Traditionally, the bell branch was a tree branch, white or silver in color, with gold bells attached to it. It was used to remove negative energies and unwanted intrusions, and by creating vibrational gateway to the other worlds through resonance. Other divinatory meanings of the bells. Time for some If I could speak, that would be wonderful. I'm getting so excited about the idea of you being inspired and being your energy being able to clear itself through this meditative practice of listening to the bells and allowing it to fill you up. That I'm just tripping over my words. Other divinatory meanings of the bells. Time for some space clearing. Burn sacred sage to clear away negative energies from your home or place of work. Choose your words carefully and wisely. Be aware of your every action. Step away from your current situation and heed the warning signs you've been ignoring. There, in this oracle deck, there is a little rhyme at the end of each description for the cards. It's called speaks. So bells speaks. Ding-a-ling-ling, flee away. My sound keeps evil spirits at bay. I come to you as a warning sign. Heed my message and you'll be fine. Wow, that was really freaking powerful. I strongly encourage you to go maybe to YouTube and look up, I believe it's tongue. Let me look it up for you. Tongue drum. Look up tongue drums. Tongue drums, crystal bowls, and perhaps First Nations or Native American rattles. Keep yourself in a good space. If you're surrounded by this negative energy, all you can control is what's inside. So if that means that you have to block out the energy surrounding you, do it. Align yourself in here first, and things will consequently change outside of you as well. What is inside is reflected outside, and vice versa. I'm going to look up, as I said before, I feel incredibly connected to animals in a spiritual way. I think that they are a huge source of guidance for me in my day-to-day life, and one way that I help to keep myself positive and connected to the spirit animals is through looking up quotes associated with the spiritual meaning behind particular animals. I use spiritanimals.com, and I just felt really led to read you the frog quote today. The frog says this: "Take some time to decide what your goals are and assess if you are taking the proper steps in order to get there. No more deflection from the core of your ideas." Really dig deep, as painful as that may be, especially since you're feeling this Chiron wounded warrior energy already. Ask a friend for a hug. Tell them how you're feeling, because you are loved. You are loved. And you are worlds stronger than you believe. I'm gonna just ask Spirit one last time if there's any advice, any wisdom. Spirit, for the water signs, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, is there anything else that you wish for them to be in an aware and clear mindset about? Okay. You got the Eight of Swords. Oh, I'm so sorry. The Knight of Swords in reverse. And what this is saying to me is that your first reaction from this, you may feel incredibly inspired to just, okay, I know what I need to do. And just charge forward. But notice that your horses are looking in different directions. There's conflicting ideas. There's conflicting thoughts in this. And so until you're able to sit back and do the dirty work of getting under the surface of the water to dig out the hidden motivations, to dig out the guck that you have been avoiding, until you're able to do that, don't charge ahead. Sit with yourself, because that's what's going to actually heal you. Then, once you have done that, and you've cleared your energy of the guck, then you can charge forward, because your horses will be in perfect alignment, ready to charge. straightforward. This is a heavy energy, water signs, and I hope that you know I'm thinking about you and that I love you and that from what I see here, I'm incredibly proud of what you've withstood and how you've handled it. I hope you come back soon for some more fun.